Thank you, Vicky. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to Beacon. My name is Tuli Patel. My pronouns are she, her. And today I am wearing a, what color is this? Teal. Okay, a teal blouse with a black sweater on top of it. A warm welcome to you all. If you're watching us online, please won't you take a moment to introduce yourself on the chat so that we can get to know one another a little bit better. Our worship service this morning comes to you from the continued and original lands of the Lenni Lenape. We have a few announcements. The weather gods have not been gracious to us today, so trunk or treat is shifting to table and treat. Table and treat is okay, right? Downstairs in Fellowship Hall after the second service. The afternoon music concert is sold out, which means that next year when tickets go on sale, you should get them quickly. Connecting, which is for people new to Beacon to get to know us better, is going to be on November 5th, and Becoming series is going to be on November 12th. You know, I had always a hard time keeping them straight, which one's which, until Reverend Robin kindly reminded me that you cannot become before you connect. So we connect first and then we become. Yes, I got that right? For now, I invite you all to take a deep breath. Let go of all that it took to get here this morning, all that you've been holding. Deep breath in and out, and bring yourself fully to this hour, to this sacred hour of worship together.
Would you please stand in any way possible, body, spirit, and join in singing hymn 1040. The hymn is Hush. Here we go. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like freedom, sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? It sounds like justice, sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do?
Good morning, beloved. I'm Reverend Robin. My pronouns are she and her. I am a member of the lead ministry team here, along with my colleagues, Dr. Thule and Reverend Emily. We light now the symbol of our faith, as well as our children's chalice this day, which will companion them shortly to their small groups. Match calls to the flame, flame to the chalice, and chalice to the people. Across time, across generations, across continents and oceans, love yet calls to us. Life calls to us. Hush. Hush. The flame calls once more.
Oh, look, everybody. It is Wonderbox Day. Woo! Is there someone who would like to help me open the Wonderbox?
It's Stanton.
Can you tell us your name?
Hi, my name is Stanton.
Your name is Stanton, and can you tell us how old you are? Do you feel comfortable doing so? How?
So I am about, I think I'm about 6 7/8.
6 7/8. Fantastic. Fantastic. So, Stan, would you like to open the Wonderbox for us? Do you have any idea what's in there?
No.
Well, let's go see.
Black.
Black, but let's take it out and show everybody. What do you see?
Black.
It's a black. Is it like a cloth?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks pretty sheer. What do you think this material is? Yeah? It's very porous, is it not? What do you think the material is, Shanti? Why this flimsy, filmy fabric?
Thank you for the question, Jeevan. And Stanton, thank you for helping us open the Wonderbox. And you may go back to your seat now, Stanton. Thank you so much. So, Jeevan, good question. Good question. Maybe this fabric, maybe this filmy, flimsy fabric has something to do with seeing and not seeing. Jeevan, can you see through this fabric? Can you put it over your eyes and see if you can see through it? Yeah. Yeah, when you see through it, things don't look exactly clear, right? Maybe you want to face the congregation, Jeevan. Thank you so much.
Oh, so hard.
Oh, there we go.
This
Nice
is so
facing.
hard. This is so hard. Or, yeah, maybe since the material is porous, it means we can go back and forth through it?
That's it. That's exactly right. Jeevan, you have to remind me of the date. It's the 29th, which means Halloween is 2 days away.
Okay, so we are getting to Halloween through the porous fabric?
Sort of. Let's remember that the roots of Halloween go back to the Celtic festival of Samhain. Sam means summer and win is the end, so literally the end of summer. Samhain was the end of the harvest and a time when the veil between the living and the dead was thinner.
Whoa. Back up. Celtic? What?
Well, let's ask our friends, what does Celtic mean? Anybody? What does Celtic mean? This is to you, congregation. What does Celtic mean?
Of the Celts?
Of the Celts. And where are the Celts from, Chad? Celtland. Thank you, Chad. Somebody, where is Celtland? Thank you. Across the pond, the other way, right? Yes, thank you so much.
Well, yeah?
Yes.
So now I know where it came from, like the country, but what was all that other stuff that you rattled off?
So here in the Northern Hemisphere, the days are getting shorter and the nights longer, but just for one more weekend, right? Next weekend, we're going to change our clocks on Saturday night. We get an extra hour of sleep. The harvest is done. Samhain marks the end of this season.
I have to say, Shanti, I heard a lot of groans when you said about the darkness, and you also said something about the living and the dead. Oh.
Yes, it's a time when the dividing line between those of us who are still alive and those of us who are no more is thin. Now, we're not literally moving back and forth, but it's a time for us to remember those who are no longer here. They were with us for a season to share, grow, and teach us what we need. But just like spring turns to summer and summer to fall, the season together eventually ends. So we bring them back through our memories, those times that gave us peace and made us laugh.
Oh, I remember now. It's like Mexico's Day of the Dead. They build altars with photos and items to help them remember what made their loved ones so special.
Yes, exactly. Or in Japan, where it is Obon, where ancestors are honored.
Shanti, I learned so much from you, but I have to ask you, isn't all this talk about people who are gone, isn't it a bit scary?
Well, maybe part of these celebrations, all these celebrations, Halloween, Day of the Dead, Obon, is about facing our fears. And maybe what we think of as really scary isn't that scary. And maybe the veil, this flimsy, filmy, gauzy material, helps us move from the place of scary to not scary. Maybe, just maybe.
I get it. I get it. Thank you so much, Shanti.
Here ends our time for all ages.
I neglected to give my physical description for those in need of a visual aid. I am a short white woman with shoulder-length brown hair and a brick turtleneck. This past week in our check-in for the Summit Warm Hearts program, Summit Warm Hearts Day Coordinator and Beacon Board Member, Missy Rogers, mentioned that one of our participants in the program had recently been in contact with a case manager. Let's call him John. Summit Warm Hearts is a program of the Summit Interfaith Council helping to find housing for neighbors experiencing housing insecurity. And Missy shared that John, one of the participants, would have housing by December. And all of us in the meeting said what excellent news that was. And then when I came in on Tuesday, there was a thank you note from John, thanking us for what we've done. Some meals, warm clothes, clean clothes, a hot shower, and a connection for those elemental things that we have offered. And I stopped even in the midst of all that is wrong in the world, in the midst of grief, just to witness the generosity of that thank you note. From a man who, being homeless and sleeping on benches with one eye open, took the thoughtfulness and pulled together the resources to pen a note of gratitude. It reminded me of sudden changes, ones we would not choose. But in the quiet, after the shock and the grief, we look to all that remains, all that endures after 18 years. And it's the biggest thank you note we could have almost missed. A thank you note that endures in the pastoral care ministry, in the sermons, in the floorboards, in you and in me. Sometimes the sheer abundance of the world is so small and so interwoven and so ordinary, we almost miss it, beloved. But here at Beacon, we see the light we had and the light we have in this community. We see the abundance around us, and we cannot but give thanks. Our morning offering for the ministries and outreach of this community will now be most gratefully received.
Thank you, Robin. I'd like to call forward Stanton and one of his adults, please, to please carry our children's chalice down to small groups. And kids can go down now to Fellowship Hall for our small groups. Come forward. Thank you, Stanton.
this, oh my soul, oh my soul? What wondrous love is this, oh my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end, I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end, I will sing.
Good morning, Beacon. My name is Sean Jordan. For anyone I have not yet met, I most often get he, him pronouns. I stand before you with a fresh haircut, a short beard, a green and gray striped and scratchy wool sweater, and a burgundy shawl indicating my role as a chaplain in this community. As chaplains, our role is to extend the spiritual care of this community, and we define spiritual care as intentional compassion through listening and presence. We recognize that everybody needs care at some point in their lives, especially now in this time of great turmoil abroad and at home. And we offer ourselves as a resource to this community for deep listening, and in that listening, hope to provide a foundation for healing. Another way that we extend the spiritual care of the community is through a weekly ritual of community candle lighting. Together, we light candles of joy, gratitude, and sorrow. This morning, we light a candle of love for Sylvia Walker, formerly a First Unitarian Plainfield and now a member of Beacon as she has entered hospice care. Sylvia, this community holds you in our hearts. We light a candle of sorrow for those whose lives are subjected to senseless violence, for those lost in the fury of hatred, and those scarred by living through unfathomable tragedy. We light a candle of gratitude for the vibrant celebration of color brought by the changing of the leaves. It reminds us that there is remarkable beauty to be found in the constant turning and turning and turning of life all around us. And speaking of turning, we light a candle of gratitude, sorrow, and joy, every one of the big feelings, for Emily. Emily is a true beacon, a guiding light in an often dark world. I can say personally that her light drew me to Beacon, and it drew me to the chaplain program. And I am personally and eternally grateful for the impact her ministry has made on me and on us all. The ache that we feel at the thought of being apart is a manifestation of the love we share in this community. Thank you for inspiring so many of us through your commitment to this congregation and to its mission, and for inspiring us all to be a better community. And speaking of leaders, we light another candle of gratitude and joy for Lucy Bogus. who, like her mother, has been a remarkable, thoughtful, and caring leader in this community, especially among the youth group, and especially for her time spent working with our rowdy children. On behalf of my own son, who has spent many a Sunday morning with her, thank you, Miss Lucy. And finally, we light a candle of immense love and gratitude for our leaders, Reverend Robin and Dr. Tooley. We appreciate now as much as ever your grounding presence in our community, especially as we experience this moment of transition. It's for these things and so much more, beloved, that I invite you now to consider your own inspirations of joy, sorrow, and gratitude. If you're joining virtually, you can light a candle on your home altar or enter your thoughts in the chat. And for those in the sanctuary, I invite you now to come light a candle for our community candle lighting.
We're going to remain seated for this next song, which is 1002, Comfort Me. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
The music is killing me. It's killing me. Comfort me. Music to soothe the soul. Thank you. A few weeks ago, I shared with the congregation in Richmond, Virginia, where I was preaching, that true scripture for me comes in one form, and that is music. I know that for so many, it's actually found in bundles of ancient texts, parables, and records, and rules and commandments passed down from one generation to the next. Those seem to be the pillars of most faith traditions around the world. So on Friday, I was sitting in my office with Dennis Mannion and Sean, our co-chairs of our chaplain ministry, and Dennis said, that he would be here today for my final sermon, at which point Sean started going, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. It's the final countdown, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. It's the final sermon. No pressure. So all I ask for this sermon is that we keep our expectations realistic. Right? I just don't want it to suck. And if you need to hear any good ones, they're on YouTube. Forever. In all seriousness, I just want to acknowledge and thank Reverend Robin and Dr. Tooley for their open hearts in offering me the space to speak with you this morning, not to mention to Misa for changing all of the music. Thankfully, we are not really going to open with a ballad from a 1980s Swedish metal band. Instead, the sacred song, the hymn that was sung at my ordination here in this sanctuary 17 years ago, next week, was Hush. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? It is, of course, a spiritual, sung by enslaved Africans to hear the call to freedom, to liberation. And in order to hear the call to freedom, they had to face their fears. And in order to pick up the song, to sing it to one another, they had to answer the call to courage. Lord, oh Lord, what shall I do? The question is there, inviting us in to courage. At my ordination, however, I was naive, very naive, to the deeper meaning of this song. It was just a spiritual that I simply loved. But I think it was a song about a call that shared a vision of a divinity that I could only hope existed, a divinity that took a liberating love and justice to the margins of this world. Reverend Kimberly DeBus writes that she learned about the deep call to freedom in this song from enslaved Africans. She says that these songs expressed and how our singing, no matter how we identified, must carry that knowledge explicitly, recognizing that our own prayer must affirm theirs. Or as Shane Claiborne writes in Common Prayer, a liturgy for ordinary radicals, it is a song that interrupts injustice without mirroring injustice. It is an act of disarming evil without destroying the evildoer. The act of finding a third way that is neither fight nor flight, but the careful, arduous pursuit of reconciliation and justice. This is a song of a revolution of love that is big enough to set both the oppressed and the oppressors free. This is the love that I heard in the song, but I didn't know of. An audacious, justice-centered love, a universalist kind of love that I only found out each and every year of my time here in this congregation. You were the ones that sang it to me. You were the ones who revealed it to me and dared me to have faith in it. When we sing Hush, we are both being called into love by the holy ancestors of freedom themselves. And we pick up the song and we sing it to one another so that others may hear the call to freedom themselves. Now, I have to tell you that I heard this congregation's call long before I entered the doors on Waldron Avenue. I heard it first in the stories of your ministers in seminary, A. Pal Davies and Jacob Trapp, David Bumbaugh and Carol Haig, on and on and on. However, when I started working here in the summer of 2005, I discovered that the spirit of this congregation wasn't in its ministers alone. The call was lived by its members. Hush, hush, you sang. Somebody's calling my name. And I found that there in the founding board of this congregation, way back in the time of World War I, refusing to accept a minister's resignation because they believed in pacifism when pacifism wasn't popular. Even when many of them disagreed with the minister's pacifism, the board publicly declared its strong support for that minister and the principles of free speech and tolerance of diverse opinions. Hush, you sang. Hush to Reverend Doan. Somebody's calling our name. A congregation that, when faced a budget shortfall during the Depression, sacrificed heat and coal in that small fireplace through the winter so that they could meet, so that they could invest in their children's religious education program, bringing the premier religious educator, Sophia Lyon-Foz. Hush, you sang. Hush. Somebody's calling our name. Members starting an overnight housing program for families facing homelessness before it was done anywhere else with other houses of worship. That is who I discovered you were. That summer of 2005 was three short months after graduating from seminary. And that first year, I answered one question repeatedly: when are you leaving? Seriously, having just had a year-long intern minister, the congregation naturally thought I was just another intern, and you expected me to leave, and soon. actually, in the interview for the half-time assistant minister role at the time, I was up front with our minister at that time, Vanessa Southern, and then president of the board, Marty Rothfelder, that I would really only be here 3 years. My husband and I planned to move in 2008 in order for me to serve an English Unitarian congregation. We were moving to England. 2008 did not turn out the way we expected. The financial catastrophe that it was, the call to England never came. And instead, this congregation called me to grow and to deepen. And in those 3 years, this congregation answered the call again and again. Instead of allowing an American war abroad to go unnoticed, this congregation did not turn away from terror. It honored lives lost, not only of American soldiers, but of Iraqi and Afghan soldiers and civilians, marking each life lost each week as we rang the gong for them, as we wrote their names on beautiful ribbons which hung from our pillars outside our sanctuary. We did this just as the 2008 financial crisis hit and the congregation was celebrating its 100th anniversary. And what did we do? We remained faithful to our call to raise $100,000 in gifts and services to give away to local and international educational organizations in honor of who we were and this milestone. Lord, oh Lord, what shall we do? That was the question I was discerning. Having witnessed love come alive in my 3 years with you, I could do nothing but say yes. At the time, I remember hearing a neighbor of Beacon say, I've always wondered what happened behind those pillars. What happens in that congregation? Because we hid. We did our good works, but we never proclaimed who we were. But over the next 5 years, the congregation stopped hiding. Our call became more and more public. Sounds like freedom. Somebody was calling our name. Suddenly we were getting out of town, developing a relationship with public servants in Irvington, creating partnerships with schools. And for a long time, I have to tell you, they called us the Ukrainian church because they had no idea what Unitarian Universalism was. They now know who we are. Sounds like freedom. In that first year after marriage equality was won in New Jersey, we held free weddings for LGBTQ couples right here in this sanctuary, the first of which was the wedding of our own minister, Reverend Kim, and her wife, Tara. Sounds like freedom. At the same time, we were figuring out who we were and who we wanted to become. And after a 2-year process, because nothing we do here is done quickly, there's always a process of conversation. After a 2-year process, we voted on a new mission statement, one that didn't get put into a drawer, but one which almost every person can say by heart. We also voted on a vision that would guide us, and we put a strategic plan forward, a strategic plan that I often called our plan to become perfect. And then a dream came true for us. The funeral home next door was for sale, after years of hearing that it would never go for sale and it would never be sold to us. We raised the money in a blink, and a 40-year dream of expansion became possible. Sounds like freedom. Somebody was calling our name. In the spring of 2014, we confronted an unforeseen disruption. Both our senior minister and our assistant minister announced they were leaving at the exact same time. And for me, it was a moment of discernment. Prevailing wisdom from other ministers was that I should hand in my resignation. Was it better to give the congregation a clean slate or to lean into a new call? Lord, oh Lord, what shall I do? Both Dr. Tooley and I said yes. She as the new executive director after serving as the director of religious education, me as a called minister. Both of us as a part of a new structure, a lead ministry team. with the hope of calling another minister to work with us. The only problem there was that very few congregations had ever tried this model, and very few recommended it. They told us it would never, ever work. And yet, we had more applicants for that new role than any other congregation that year. And we pinched ourselves in our good luck when Reverend Robbins said yes. I remember Mike Millspaugh, who served on the search committee, who had been a youth advisor with me, asking Tuli and I, "Are you ready for Reverend Robin?" Because she was going to work. And we were. We were ready. We were so thankful. However, at that time, our congregation's call was starting to shift again. Justice was calling. For the world in 2016 would become turbulent with a capital T. In fact, on the week of our shared service of installation, in April of 2017, the president of the UUA, who was scheduled to speak at our installation, resigned suddenly amidst controversy over hiring practice and white supremacy culture in our association. And we looked at one another and said, should we just call the whole thing off? Lord, oh Lord, what shall we do? That party was worth it, worth saying yes to. Going back in time, in the fall of 2016, hundreds of us and our partners at Fountain Baptist marched down Springfield Avenue, raising Black Lives Matter banners, as Reverend Robin chaplained the Charlotte, North Carolina protesters after the shooting of Keith Lamont Scott. And we pledged that our banners would be more than just banners, but would be a call and a promise to reparations. Sounds like justice. Somebody was calling our name. In the face of one very difficult presidential election for our country, and let's just face it, every election since then has been hard from the local level to the national, many of you showed up here as new faces because you needed a faith community that would give you hope and call you to action. And was there ever a call to action? Suddenly, postcards, thousands of postcards were being mailed from here. People signed up to be poll workers. They were going door to door. We were fighting for our democracy. Somebody was calling our name. And then it seemed just as we were doing that, then we were laying the seeds for new ministries like Summit Warm Hearts. How are we going to do this? And Beacon Hope and Equity. We became a sanctuary congregation, and suddenly we were visiting immigrants in detention centers. We were protesting gun violence with new partners. And I remember saying to you too many years ago, I'm not going to pray anymore. We must act. And it is my heavy heart that says, I'm still so done praying as gun violence happens. And so the call for justice continues. And then, as if that weren't enough, the world shut down as COVID swept through the world, and yet our ministries did not. They did not. In 5 days, I remember it so clearly, in 5 days, this congregation learned how to completely recreate an in-person faith community in a digital format from our homes. We kept asking and answering the question, what does it mean to show up when you can't physically show up? We have continued to ask that question, what does it mean to show up? And then George Floyd was killed. And this congregation decided to take a deeper look at its own institutional racism, passing the 8th principle in an effort to accountably dismantle racism and oppression in ourselves, not out there, in ourselves and in our institutions. Sounds like justice. As if that weren't enough, when it looked like this congregation's dream of expansion would fail in the zoning board process, a new opportunity opened. The American Red Cross building came up for sale, and suddenly we had room to breathe on a property surrounded by parkland just a mile from our home. somebody has been calling our name. Are you all tired? Just from hearing it? Are you all convinced we have moved mountains? We have made miracles happen. In the midst of all of that, together we maintain the everyday sacred moments, the blessing of babies, of homes, of unions, of new members, of coming of agers, of graduating seniors. We have made meaning of our lives in all of the different ages, and we have honored the losses of those we loved, whether their call took them in different directions or into the beyond. Here and in this place and every place we went, you called me into the blessing of love, an audacious and justice-centered love, a universalist kind of love, and you dared me to have faith in it. You taught me what this sacred song of freedom is all about, that we must listen for the call of the holy, listen, but that we must also join in the singing, calling one another back to love. It is a gift that I cannot repay. But of course, that's not how gifts work. So instead, I make you a promise to take your great love with me. Over the last 10 years, there has been a great toll on leaders, faith leaders, justice leaders, corporate leaders. They are called, but they are often going it alone. And my call is now to accompany them as you accompanied me, as you grew me into a leader. Lord, oh Lord, what shall I do? I will, I promise, take your great love with me. And you have to make me a promise too, okay? There is sadness in this parting, but it's an invitation to open our hearts. You have to open your hearts. You have to keep them open. As my predecessor, A. Powell Davies, said, when sorrow comes, let us accept it simply as a part of life. Let the heart be open to pain. Let it be stretched by it. All the evidence we have says that it is the better way. An open heart never grows bitter, or if it does, it cannot remain so. Anguish, like ecstasy, is not forever. There comes a gentleness, a returning quietness, a restoring stillness. This, too, is a door to life. The threshold awaits. Keep your heart open and walk through. I ask that you promise to keep living into your call. For on Friday, here as plays were happening, as we turned our sanctuary into a theater, a visitor learned what Unitarian Universalism was for the first time. They had no idea we existed. Let's change that, beloved. Okay? Let's change that. Marty, lead the way. They had been listening for our call, and we have not been singing loud enough. There is not enough room for us all here. We must open the doors. There is another verse to this song. We didn't sing it this morning, so I'm going to invite you to sing it with me. The last one, the last verse is, I'm so glad trouble don't last always. 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 Oh my Lord, what shall I do? It has been an honor to accompany you on your call. I have nothing but gratitude. And so my call carries me in a different direction. and your call carries you on. Be not afraid, beloved. Love is with us, always. Ashe. So may it be.
Thank you. Perhaps prayer is not for you, beloved. Then join me in sacred listening in the stillness to connect from the deep well of gratitude. Thank you. And if prayer is your practice, then holy love of many names, center us as we breathe in the midst of tears and grief that are the signal of immense love. In this broken world where the foundations have fissures, it seems, where the children are the victims of endless war of the guns we cannot seem to silence. And the hurt pours in to the pain of Palestine, of Israel, of Ukraine, of Ethiopia, Libya, Somalia, Syria, here closer in Maine, Camden, Patterson. Too much. Enough. Here where the tremors of grief and loss resonate, here we remember. Grief and sorrow are the signal of the love which endures. Here, beloved, we open hearts. We listen for the abundance that is already given, the love already holding us, our source and return, guiding us through the worst of what the world can be toward the beauty of each dawn and day. Love beyond love. We give thanks, beloved Emily. We give thanks for the love you have embodied, for the beauty and strength of your family. We extend our love to Gordon, to Lucy, to Alice. We give thanks for the way that your life has transformed ours, for the companionship you've given us in this ministry of love, babies blessed, youth celebrated, seniors crossing thresholds, coming of agers rising into their voice, couples wed, homes blessed, lives honored, vigils led, interfaith councils transformed forever, marching, praying, petitioning, leading, listening, loving. 18 years is the movement of a life from infancy to early adulthood. 18 years is a sacred number. And so too will your ministry remain here forever. "18 years, beloved, does not evaporate like the morning dew. 18 years runs deep, strengthens the foundation, repairs the fissures, kindles the light for the generation to come. Love beyond love, in gratitude and grief. Give us the wisdom now to release our beloved to her call, to discern in our weary and wonderful world where love calls us on this day. Here in the silence, here in the hush, here in the holy quiet, let us listen.
We have some choir members here today who are going to help sing the song, which is a blessing, and it starts with words of the centuries-old Julian of Norwich. For all shall be well, for all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. May you be safe, may you be well, may you be lifted up in joy, may you find peace and be at ease, and may you blessed be. May you be safe, may you feel strong, may you be lifted up in joy, may you find peace and be at ease, and may you blessed be. For all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Would you please stand in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 1010, and that is We Give Thanks. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and this far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Invite you, beloved, to take hands for our closing blessing, which is a responsive blessing. And so when I extend my hand to you, if you would respond, we give thanks.
Beyond this place,
there is a congregation, a community.
beyond this moment,
There is an enduring ministry. We give thanks.
beyond this goodbye,
There will always be love. Give thanks. Amen, and blessed be.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom.